Frightening. Arsenal right now, their form, their consistency, their ability not to concede goals, absolutely frightening on every single level. I suppose the only sour part to tonight's game for Arsenal was conceding a shot on target. Hit the like button, please. Make sure you are subscribing to the Football Terrace and ensure you've got the bell notifications on as well. But tonight was beyond routine. I looked at Arsenal this evening and we'll get into some individuals, but what I noticed tonight was Arsenal's strength is in depth, is on another level right now. There is no doubt about it. They've got key players out or being rested, yet an away night in the Champions League just looked routine. And that to me is the mark of a very, very top side indeed. It was almost too easy for them. But there was right at the end, I don't know if you noticed, that there was a little fracas between a player whose name I don't remember and Gabriel. But that was because Gabriel was still trying to get blocks in, still trying to stop shots going on goal in the 94th minute and 50 seconds when they're 3-0 up. And it's those little moments, those little inches, those little elements that are absolutely important. But the winning run that Arsenal are on is fantastic. There'll be no moaning from the media tonight because they scored 2 goals from open play as well. And I love how the Champions League is such a different kettle of fish for Arsenal this year and top of that league table chart as well. But absolutely dominant on every single level. I want to get your views. I want to get your opinions on this game in our comment section below. But I have to say, just thoroughly impressed with what Arsenal did this evening. There's no doubt about that. We'll get some of your comments up on the screen as well. One shot in the 95th minute on target. I mean, yeah, that's Arsenal are at a point now where that is the worst part of their games. It's absolutely crazy. It didn't count. By the way, Baldwin, I'm only going with what the stats said. If it's not really, I wouldn't even worry about it. To be honest with you, I'm just going with what the stats on the screen have got to say. But overall, just phenomenal again from Arsenal on every single level. And I said it at the start, and I'm going to say it again. Arsenal are frightening. They're frightening. I still don't think Arsenal have hit top gear. And I still think Arsenal are going to get better in the attack. Before we go any further, please like, share, subscribe, hit the hype button for us as well. Really important, but frightening. And I want to just go to the beginning of the game for a moment here. I want to go to the beginning of the game for a minute, because when you look at that starting lineup tonight, Henkepe, obviously, he's a very good player, but he's on the fringes and on the periphery. He's a squad player right now. Will he become a first teamer? Most likely. Okay. You got Wenaria, youth player, coming in. You've got Norgard coming into the team, Moreno playing up front, and Trossard, I'll put him in the first team category. So you've got kind of 4 fringe players and squad players starting the game. There's also, I want to read this out to you here, Zubimendi, Gyökeres, Odegaard, Kai Havertz, Gabriel Jesus, and I think Martinelli was out as well, unless I'm absolutely mistaken. I don't think he was on the bench today. Martinelli and Noni Madueke. And maybe I've missed somebody. That's the injury list, plus there was some rotation. And the reason why tonight's win is so impressive, Slavia Prague haven't lost at home since December 2024. Most away games in the Premier League, there are some whipping boys, there are some easy teams, there's no doubt about it, but they're difficult. And you saw the opening 10 minutes, Prague came out and they were pressing Arsenal. They used up so much energy, so much effort. We've got to get a good start against the Gunners. They couldn't do it. Arsenal settled. But with those injuries, with some rotation, which is important for the title charge, they've got to keep some energy in those legs in the latter stages of the campaign. To watch a team look exactly the same with that amount of injuries and that amount of rotation to the first team, bringing onto the pitch again. You look at the players that came onto the pitch. Some of them are first team players like Eze, but and Skelly. But Ben White, who's become a squad player at Arsenal, comes on just as good. You've got the youngest player in, I think, maybe in the history of the Champions League, but certainly for Arsenal and certainly for English teams, Endowment coming onto the football pitch. Young Anus coming on as well. It's frightening watching Arsenal right now because they have these injuries, they have rotation, and they look the same. They're not conceding goals, they're not conceding shots. That is 10 wins on the bounce for Arsenal. That is 9 clean sheets in those 10 games, and it's 8 clean sheets on the bounce. And as I said on the Football Terrace earlier today, they're fighting to stop shots going on target in the 93rd, 94th, 95th minute of the game when they're cruising. This is a team that has the bit between its teeth. And you saw that in the performance tonight away in the Champions League. Yes, the first 10 minutes, they had to ride a storm. And there was a little storm in the opening 10 minutes. And I'm sure the media were getting their narratives ready. People were getting all of their, this is going to be amazing. They're going to do something here. But then Arsenal just took over and they had all the momentum. They had all the pressure. They were building up all the shooting and goal scoring opportunities. And yes, the penalty was where the first goal comes from. But why? Arsenal going to their old faithful, the set pieces, fantastic set pieces. The handball, look, none of us like UEFA's handball rules, but they're fairly consistent with them. It's a penalty, and then up steps Bukayo Saka. And I want to talk about Bukayo Saka for a minute because I found the statistics. If you see it anywhere and they're not paying homage to Terry Flewers or the Football Terrace, you send them my way. It's only half serious. Bukayo Saka has the second highest goals per game ratio in the Champions League ever for an English player. And that's looking at players that have scored 10 goals or more, okay? Because you'll find some obscure stat of someone that scored 1 goal in the one game they played. But that is now 12 goals in 21 appearances. That means he scores in 57% of his games. The only English player in the history of the Champions League to have a better goals per game ratio is Harry Kane on 0.75. And he's a striker. He is the head of on that list. Listen, and maybe it drops as he gets older. I'm only going with what he's done now. The top 5 actually are Harry Kane, followed by Bukayo Saka. Then it's Marcus Rashford. Then it's Andy Cole and Dennis Weiler. If you don't know who Dennis Weiler is and you call yourself a United fan, shame on you. And then it's the Liverpool legend Terry McDermott. There's loads of brilliant players on that list. And by the way, scoring 1 in 3 isn't a bad statistic, by the way. There's a lot of players on there, 1 in 3, 1 in 4, excellent. Bukayo Saka, the second best goals to game ratio of any English player ever. Now, no one's making a claim that he has a better Champions League legacy than a Lampard or a Rooney who have won the competition. He got to go on to do that. But this man, I know it was a penalty, but I'm one of very few football fans. I don't minus penalties. I don't discount penalties because they're real goals. And as soon as that went in, excellently taken by Bukayo, the game settled and Arsenal just dominated. Second half begins. They come out quick. Open play goal, by the way. Open play, ole. Good cross from the left-hand side. I want to say it was Trossard who crossed the ball, but I'm going to probably end up getting that wrong. I think it was Trossard, yes. And then there he was. And we spoke about earlier on Straight Facts on the Football Terrace. We spoke about Gyökeres being out and would that impact Arsenal? And I think over a long period of time it could. But Merino is a very capable striker. And the only thing that popped into my head when that ball came in is how many of those chances have been set up for Gyökeres? But Merino tucks it away very, very nicely. Prague then they know it's that off, that they attack a little bit more. Arsenal will just dominating the ball, dominating the game. They're cruising at this point. And it's sort of, I've got the Napoli game on, which I'm watching because it's a little bit more knife edge because Arsenal are cruising so easily. And then another bit of wonderful play by Arsenal, maintaining the ball. And then Declan Rice. And I love it when Declan Rice does this, just for the narrative, if I'm being honest with you, just to have a laugh with people, as well as recognizing the talent. The pass from Rice for the third goal. Now, you can question the goalkeeping because he came out when he probably should have stayed on his line. But that has something to do with the pass. It was weighted, it had great backspin on it. The goalkeeper just mistimes it. Moreno goes, I'm going to get my head on the ball, back of his head. Goal goes in, 3-0, a brace for him. That meant a nice onslaught of substitutions could come in to rest the right players. Some of the fringe players, some more kids come onto the pitch. And it was game, set, and match for Arsenal. But as I said at the beginning, this is where Arsenal are frightening this season. This is where Arsenal are deadly this campaign. And I don't think that can be played down or denied in any way. Is you've got a team now that I know for a fact last season, if you had, now the players that weren't there, we'll just add somebody else. But they didn't even have Zubimendi, or they didn't have Gyökeres last year. So we'll take him out. But let's say Zubimendi was Partey, okay? That means if you had the last season, they had Partey out, Kai Havertz and Gabriel Jesus out, Odegaard out, okay? and then they had Martinelli out. I just don't see this Arsenal team getting a result like that, or winning the games they have, or winning with such comfortability. I don't see it personally. The strength and depth that Arsenal now have is fantastic. And of course, Arteta is developing and coaching them and training them every day, deserves credit. The players themselves, fantastic. But it's looking at Berta and it's looking at the Arsenal board and it's saying absolutely well done to what you have done. The players that you have purchased, the players that you have brought in, they just complement the squad well. They are perfect fits from a stylistic point of view, or profile as a modern day word is, because nearly every single time this season you've seen rotation, you have not seen Arsenal's levels drop. You have not seen them fall off. You have not seen anything of that sort whatsoever. Not one little bit, in my personal opinion. Now, if they were away playing PSG, would it be different? Of course it would. And I shouldn't really say that, but you have to in the modern day world, because there's a lot of what I call toaster people. And if you're new to my channel, when I say toaster people, that's people I wouldn't trust to use a toaster due to their low IQ. Oh, they wouldn't be able to make that many rotations against the best teams. No, I understand that. But Arsenal were losing to the mid teams, not mid as in crap. I mean, the mid-table group. They were losing to those teams a few years ago when they had a couple of injuries and had to rotate. You saw it in the League Cup. Brighton, 3 seasons ago, when they rotated, battered them 3-1 at the Emirates. Look at the difference a few years later. And that's the frightening element for rivals right now. The 8 clean sheets on the bounce, the 9 clean sheets in the last 10 games, 10 wins in a row, goals coming from everywhere. If you look, all competitions, open play, penalties, set pieces, everywhere they're scoring. And there's still another level to go. I still think there's a level of creativity. I still think there's a level of attacking play for Arsenal to go up. But from a midfield perspective, from a defensive perspective, there may be teams as good as Arsenal, but there's no one better than them right now in those departments in European football. That, for me, is a fact. But look, I want to get your thoughts. I want to get your opinions. We're going to bring on a couple of people, a small panel for this show, because I know there's massive games kicking off in 5 minutes' time, which everybody wants to go and watch. We are live, by the way, after those games again, and we'll bring a much bigger panel on. And if people want to speak Arsenal on that show, we'll allow that to happen as well. There'll be a longer period of time. But there's obviously a massive game for Liverpool that's going to dominate that show as well. But I didn't want to not do that. But listen, like, share, subscribe, please. Hit the hype button for us if you would be so kind as well. Let me check one thing. We have had some super chats. Let me do these first. People forget that we like to play our main striker as a backup DM. Merino. I'll probably say his name wrong again. You know, every time someone tells me I say his name wrong, it makes my dyslexic brain say it wrong again. So please stop telling me, and I'll get better at it. But it's just the way my brain works. I'm very sorry. Hit the line button, everyone. Hit the like button. Thank you very much, bro. 3 goals in 16 is monstrous. We're a hungry beast. Downman at 15 has an unteachable quality. Every legend, every dribbler has had, forcing defenders into unavoidable fouls, and he dribbles past you. Yeah. And the one thing he hasn't got yet, and just because he's 15, and you can see by his frame and size, he's going to add far more muscle, far more explosiveness, and far more power to his game as he becomes a man. And it'll add something where he's able to glide past people, but then just get away. He can do that at the moment, but at 15, your body does change, and what a talent that young man is. That was a good and comfortable, scrappy win. I wouldn't call that scrappy at all, personally, but there we go. I am devastated with this result. How can we concede a shot on goal? This is just terrible, truly devastated. Even 3 goals can't cover for this loss. Listen, I obviously know you're joking, but I do actually get why that would frustrate some Arsenal fans, because you're going for records at the same time as trying to win major trophies. Let me bring the small panel we've got on the show out now. We'll give everyone a few minutes to say their piece on the Gunners tonight, on this specific game. Let me move myself over. And when I bring them on, I can then set up my TV for all the other stuff that's going on. So let me do this. Let me click this button. We've got Saad, we've got Anton, we've got here with me. Welcome back to the show, gentlemen. Another very solid, professional, impenetrable Arsenal win. Saad, what did you make of it, bro?
Yeah, firstly, I want to say I'm fuming. I'm absolutely fuming at this shitty team for conceding a shot on target. How dare you?
No, how dare
A
us?
shot on target, bro. Yeah. Look how long you've been without conceding a shot on target. You decide to do it now, man. Come on. These centre backs need to fix up. Now get into the serious stuff. Listen, I'm gassed. By the way, guys, I put a tweet out today on Twitter. Yeah. I put a tweet out today,
You
guys.
didn't put a tweet out on. You didn't put a tweet out on Instagram, did you? Yeah, go on.
Nah. I put a tweet out on Twitter, guys. Yeah, saying that Arsenal are in an injury crisis. By the way, we have an injury crisis right now, but because of our elite depth, because of our elite squad depth, it's being hidden, guys. Yeah, we're able to cope with it, unlike other teams. So you have to understand that these performances right now, big up to the manager, big up to the players, because we went out there, we made Sparta Prague look like, do you know what I mean? Like there were levels and levels below us. Yeah, levels and levels below us, man. And listen, I'm ecstatic, I'm happy, I'm gassed. I'm excited to see what we can do in this Champions League, because I do feel we're coming into this a bit more strong and a bit more experienced. I feel like the team, some of the other players that have already played, like the Declan Rices, the Gabriels, the Salibas, the Sakas, they're way more. Even Trossard, they've been there now. They've played in this competition. They know what it's about. I feel like they've gained that experience. Obviously, winning it comes with a whole different type of experience, but you see that they've come with that experience. They look like they've. I'm just happy with where my team is right now. I'll be real. I'm happy with where my team is.
No, I agree, and you kind of mentioned the injury crisis element there, and it's one of those interesting ones where to have 1, 2, 3. I mean, to have Zubimendi, Gyökeres, Odegaard, Kai Havertz, Martinelli, and Madueke out. I mean, most clubs, if they lost that many first-team players and kind of first-team squad players, the guys that are always coming on the subs and they're always involved, to have that many out, most teams would be struggling. But right now, it just feels like it's water off a duck's backside.
Yeah, definitely. And you just have to look at how the team is continuing to put performances up. You see Mikel Merino coming in as the striker. Last season, we were like, oh my God, do you know what I mean? He's come in as a striker. He's managed to hold the fort. Hopefully, we won't need to do that again. He's had to do that, unfortunately, again. But he comes on, and Mikel Merino does what he does best, and that is put himself in a dangerous position, get ahead onto the goal, he's doing flicks now, he's doing tricks, like it's mad. Do you know what I mean? I'm gassed. Listen, I'm happy. I know we're gonna keep this short and sweet, but I'm just so happy with the performance. I'm so happy with the 3 points in the Champions League new format. So we're top of the league at the moment in the Champions League and in the Premier League. So I'm gassed. Do you know what I mean? I'm gassed.
And you should be, Anton, tonight. I mean, it's one of those games that can sometimes be a little bit hard, a little boring, not many goals scored, a bit of rotation to your team. But how impressed were you with the professionalism tonight from your club, who just, it doesn't seem to matter what the match is, what the occasion is, their levels are just tip top?
Yeah, look, reality better be starting to set in for our rivals at the moment, because this is what I was trying to explain to everybody when I said we had the best squad depth months and months and months ago. And as Saad just said, we are literally in an injury crisis right now. We have some of our most important players. Like, I was on a podcast yesterday. We were talking about what are we going to do without Victor Gyökeres. You know, we have no strikers whatsoever. And Mikel Merino comes in today, and I got to give credit to Negative Dan on this, because he said, calm down. Mikel Merino can go in there and do a job. And he was 100% right. Like, this Arsenal team, like, if this is the floor, you guys all better watch out, because I think there's a bit of a gap between us and everybody else. Not gonna lie. Like, the more the games go on, the more I feel that way.
I hear that. I wanted to ask you about Saka tonight, because yes, he gets the goal. Yes, he improves his goal to game ratio in the Champions League, but it was another leadership worthy performance from him. He held the ball up well. He drove. He led. What did you make of Bukayo Saka in general tonight?
Yeah, I thought Saka was really good. There were times where I thought he was muscled off the ball by Mboji, the player for Slavia Prague, but overall, yeah, he was phenomenal once again. I do kind of feel, though, that Arsenal, we are far too reliant on him though sometimes, especially tonight you can understand it considering who was available, but I just feel like we still are attacking too much down the right hand side, and suddenly when we started to put the ball down the left, all of a sudden we start becoming fruitful for us. Like Marino's opening goal in the second half comes from the left hand side, so I think he's been phenomenal, but we just do need to have a little bit more balance in our attacking approach because sometimes it can be a little bit predictable. I think that's something that is going under the radar in terms of why we're not scoring so much from open play, is because a lot of our opponents understand that the ball is coming down the right hand side, so they're kind of prepared for that. I wish we could just have a little bit more balance. That's all I ask for, but that's just me nitpicking at this point.
No, I get that. And I wanted to ask you tonight as well. I'm not sure if it's his first start for you, but certainly the first one I remember. Henkepe on the left-hand side, someone that's almost been forgotten about unless you're an Arsenal fan because he came in with a bit of a noise and then he's been injured. What did you make of his performance tonight, left back away in the Champions League?
Yeah, I think he was really good. I think since he's started to get a few run of games now for Arsenal, I think Nkapie has been solid. Look, I think he needs to still get more comfortable playing in that defense. There are times where he kind of, you can tell that there's a bit of a communication issues going on. But yeah, only thing I would say again is I wish that we could utilize him a little bit more on the attack because
1-0 Bayern Munich. Luis Diaz, just update everyone. Let me know.
Yeah, so yeah, I could see Nkapie literally waving his arms like this. Okay, guys, give me the ball, give me the ball, give me the ball. And so we could utilize that outlet a little bit more, but defensively, perfect again. And yeah, I think he's only going to get better the more he gets used to playing in that role. But
I hear you. Shannon, what did you make of it tonight? I mean, is it just becoming a bit boring now? Winning these games easily, scoring goals, not conceding. What did you make of your Arsenal team tonight away in the Champions League?
Look, funny enough, bro, my wife said to me, she's like, I know Arsenal are playing well because you no longer stand and watch Arsenal play. You sit down and you're quite calm. And it's the truth, bro. I think we are really going with a level of professionalism. I don't think we need to even be scintillating. I think Arsenal have shown over the past couple of seasons that we can play good football. But now what it actually requires us is to be ruthless and get the job done. I think there's no excuses for this team. So whether we play great football or we score from set pieces, the ultimate goal for us this season is to win. And I think we are knocking off or getting into the habit of winning and winning in different ways. We didn't have Gyökeres. We don't have Havertz. We put Merino up. I said in one of the group chats, can Merino give us a Merino special tonight? And he did that. Very similar to how he did it against Leicester last season, where he came in, we didn't have strikers, and he scored 2 goals. That gives me a lot of peace or calmness going into the Sunderland game because it's like, okay, he might be a threat for Sunderland. So I think injuries aside, yes, that's quite frustrating, don't get me wrong. But we've shown that I think everything we've learned over the past couple of title races is coming into effect now. We can win dirty. We can win with different systems. And I think for me personally tonight was just about getting the job done. Get the job done, get your 3 points, get out. Because obviously we got Sunderland on the weekend, which I think is a very, very important game because it's the last game before a tricky run of fixtures. Before we play Bayern, Tottenham, and Chelsea. So I think getting the 3 points tonight and hopefully on the weekend is a good buffer because I think over the next couple of games you might get like 1 or 2 results that maybe aren't the most favorable. But I think having won some previous games puts us in a good position, like cushion-wise. So I'm overall happy with today's performance. Professional, like I said, and yeah, that's what I could have asked for.
Yeah, listen, I think you're right, and that's the one thing that's impressing me about Arsenal. And you saw it today. And there's a moment in the game tonight, right at the end of the match. Gabriel's getting into an argument with the Prague player, but that's in trying to stop a shot when you're 3-0 up in the 94th minute. Where if that goes in, it makes no difference to the game. But it's those fine margins, it feels like, Shannon, which all the elite athletes do. It doesn't even matter if they lose it. Or you see it in tennis, you see it in golf. They can be miles behind, but then they're still, you know, they might not be able to win the tournament, but they're still trying to do their best on every single hole to get themselves into a good flow, maybe for the next comp or whatever it may be. I think Shannon is now back with us now. He didn't run off while I was talking to him. He is back here. But yeah, as I say, just elite level professionalism from Arsenal. There's no doubt about it. Giuseppe, what's your thoughts on things? I mean, you had your fourth choice striker come in today and score a brace. You're breaking records. You're looking like a team that might break records left, right, and centre. But what did you make specifically of your team's performance tonight?
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to sound arrogant, but like it's just so easy for us right now. Like I don't want to say it like that because I know people go, oh, well, but it just is. It just really is. Like I don't even think we were amazing today. I thought Slavia Prague actually played pretty well against us. I thought they then you look at the shots and they only had a shot on target in the last like seconds of the game, and it was a deflected shot as well. So it's like it's so crazy to think like how dominant we are in these games. I thought for the team we put out, we done well. We had quite a few of our strong players out there. Obviously, Rice, the centre back, Saka was all there, but we had Merino steps up every time. By the way, goes under the radar of how much of a great signing he was. People were laughing at us at first when we signed him. You paid too much, just under 30 million. When he started playing, oh, what a waste of what a crap signing. You should have signed other players. And now look, he seems to be getting us out of a lot of sticky situations when we've got injuries. I thought Saka had a decent game. He was a bit quiet. Namweri getting a run in the Champions League starting. Hincapi, I thought was great. As a team, listen, there's not much I can say that ain't just a repeat. Like I can just record myself from last week and just play it again because this team is just continuously so like what I love, because one of my pals messaged me going, Arteta's winding me up. Why is he not taking off Saliba? Why is he not taking off Gabriel? Rest them. And I'm like, no, mate. This clean sheet run that we're on, you don't just give that up. Like, I know, obviously, you want to rest players and stuff, but if these guys are all right, I'm not going to lie, you keep them on the pitch. 8 clean sheets in a row is insane. You don't see that. Bearing in mind, teams can hardly put 5 wins in a row together. Yeah, no dig at you, Terry, but teams can't put 5 wins in a row together. We've put
double that just now.
We've put 8 clean sheets in a row, Champions League and Premier League. It's insane. So listen, I don't think any Arsenal fan should be coming with any negativity. And I've even come to the point now where I'm actually just enjoying the journey. I've stopped saying this, we need to win this season, because I generally believe we are going to win this season. So I don't have to keep bringing it up. I'm just enjoying this journey that we're on because honest to God, I know, listen, it's Slavia Prague tonight. So it's not oh my God team, but they haven't lost at home since like December 2024. And we just went and absolutely dealt with them. And I know it's like we're miles above them. We're not going to say that. But the point is to keep a clean sheet, to actually nullify them completely and comfortably win with arguably half a team missing of our starters, because you'd argue that there was at least 5 starters that didn't start that game. I think that was an amazing result. And I think that everyone's slowly starting to realize, oh crap, these guys are good. Because listen, we scored a set piece, a pen that we got from a set piece. So listen, but then open play, 2 goals. So there's nothing really to moan about from an Arsenal perspective. If I think any Arsenal fan moaning, I'm literally questioning their loyalty to the club and their to the club, because you can't
put the context.
You can't go
negative Dan's now becoming positive Dan too. So I've got 2 positive Dans.
The thing is with negative Dan as an individual is negative Dan. I don't look at him in the same way as you've got. He's not in that category. Me and him had this conversation. I don't consider him an Arteta outer. I consider him someone that's given Arteta a chance and he's like, well, if he doesn't win now, he's got to go. That's different from someone that's never didn't want Arteta or turned on him quickly and has never yielded from that and is almost happy when things go wrong. Negative Dan is not in that space of person for me at all. So he's not in that space. Negative Dan is just obviously a funny nickname that he's kind of got through his work with Positive Dan and the Guna Therapy and of course the Football Terrace now. But look, I agree with you. And I'm just watching you tonight and there's this element of I find myself drifting off, not to sleep, not boredom, focus drifting, and partly it's because I'm setting up shows and making thumbnails and doing things. But when I watch Arsenal games now, especially once you're a couple of goals up, I just drift away because it's part of it is me knowing I'm not going to suddenly hear, and they're in, and you've conceded a goal. You just control games so easily. That was brilliant by Mo Salah. So, yeah, I mean, it's testament to the manager. It's testament to your side. And it's probably the first time I can remember since peak Wenger where I'm seeing Arsenal make changes and everything stays the same. And I think what's scary about that for rivals, what's amazing for you three, is that when City were doing that, and when Liverpool were doing that in the last 8-9 years, when they made 4, 5, 6 changes, had a few injuries, and they were just as good, that's when they were winning everything. And I feel this Arsenal team feels so different to the one that nearly won it 3 and 2 seasons ago and got to a Champions League semi-final last year. This feels like an Arsenal team that has just gone to that next, I'm going to use the word, boys, has gone, it might be in that next phase. I'm just saying it, right? It could be there. It could be there. And there's almost an inevitability about it. And look, I think, but you said the right thing, Giuseppe, enjoy it. Enjoy the games, enjoy the nights, enjoy the moments, because there'll be some bad nights this season. There'll be some bad results you get, and that's going to happen because even in your invincible season, you had a bad night in the Champions League. You know, in Man United's treble-winning season, we had some bad nights in the comps, but you've got to enjoy it. And I think that you're at such a good point now where you're probably going to win something this year unless something catastrophic happens. So I don't think there's any point stressing about it after every game. I ain't celebrating until we win it. It's like, no, you've got to enjoy nights like this, man. You've got to.
Even like when you said about the bringing players in and it not changing, like a lot of Arsenal fans actually got abused for this. But last season, we could already see this happening because last season we didn't have a great season, right? We had a lot of injuries. Arteta made some mistakes. We let Liverpool get away and we didn't catch them. But the fact of the matter is, through all that, we still finished second and we were still there and comfortably second. We just really lacked depth last season, which we've added to. But already you're seeing that this team can stay there even without their best players because Arteta's drilled it in. And this is what you do get. I know people laugh at that, but this is what you do get by having a manager that stayed there for this long. Because he's only bringing in players that fit that system, and he's done it over a period of time where every player in that team now fits that system. You ain't got anyone that don't. He's drilled it into the players, he's drilled it into the culture, and he's drilled it into the dressing room. So now, whoever comes in, even like when you bring in people with attitudes, like people say Noni Madueke had an attitude at Chelsea. He's coming at Arsenal. We've got players now that won't allow you to have that attitude. We've got players like Gabriel, Declan Rice, Saka. That if you're mucking about, they're going to say to you, "Sort it out, mate. We don't do this round here."
No, and that's absolutely, and you absolutely need that in a dressing room. You mentioned a player, Declan Rice. I want to speak about a few things with him tonight. Yes, he got the assist, a fantastic ball, but the most amount of chances created on the pitch tonight, Declan Rice 5. The most amount of passes into the final third tonight, Declan Rice was 10. And this is another one of those performances where you get people that say things like, but what does he do unless he's assisting from a corner? Again, breaking up play tonight, passing the ball into the final third, breaking lines, creating chances. Another stellar performance from him. Yes, Shan.
Yo, bro. So, like, just touching on Rice, I think it's the quite common thing of we can't claim a player as world class until they've won something, which I think is absolute rubbish. Because at the end of the day, it's a certain consistency that comes with like being world class. And I think Rice. You know what makes him such a great player, in my opinion, is that his price tag has never been questioned once. Not once has you heard the price tag being questioned. And I think I can go as far as saying that he's probably the most complete midfielder in Europe. I'm not saying he's the best. I'm saying he's the most complete, where he can affect multiple facets of the midfield. He can win the ball. He can create. Even from a set piece, I think that's something that I think midfielders are 9 times out of 10 your midfielder, you know. So I think with Rice, I just think he's growing in stature game by game. And I think for us as Arsenal fans, I think it's what we've known for a couple of years now. But I think the rest of the world is starting to really pick up and say, he's not really just a defensive midfielder that breaks up play. He's quite technical. People always say that he doesn't always pass between the lines. But I mean, that's just the type of midfielder he is. But for what he's good at, he's probably one of the best at doing. So I think
when they say don't pass between the lines, the facts don't lie on this. There's only 2 players in the whole Premier League this season, Bruno Fernandes being one of them, and the other, I forget the guy's name now, that have broke defensive, who broke the defensive line with more passes than him. So yeah,
Exactly.
but actual line breaking. So not even just moving the ball forward, breaking the lines. The thing with Declan Rice is the only thing that lets him down is that even when his free kicks look beautiful, even when he crosses the ball well, he's one of those footballers that doesn't look aesthetically pleasing in his body movements. And I've said it before, some football fans should watch ballet because for them, it's all about how someone looks when they do things as opposed to how does it end up. Bruno Fernandes is the same. People don't realize that he's been the best in the league, the second best, in the league this whole season. Again, progressing the ball through lines and moving the ball forward. It's because he looks awkward doing it. And even United fans are like, I don't think he was that good. And that's because he's not doing it with a little pirouette here and there and a little, the first touch on the half turn doesn't look silky. But for me with football, that stuff's beautiful. But I'm more about the efficiency and the consistency of the output in someone's role, not just goals and assists, but how regularly they're passing the ball forward. Not, well, this guy only breaks the lines half the amount of time, but he looks better doing it. I can't stand that bullshit. I can't stand it.
Yeah, and look, bro, I just to touch on it. I think it's something that where your bias or your preference of the type of player that you shouldn't have to basically dictate whether or not you can praise another player. Like if you prefer a midfielder like Pedri, you can still give praise to a player like Declan Rice.
Yeah. No, I agree. You get a lot of that, don't you? It's like, well, it's not my favorite type of player, so I'm not going to praise it. Yeah, it's
Rice as well. Something that goes under the radar is like, it's not under the radar, but people don't talk about enough. Is his leadership and his maturity. Today, he was on a yellow card. Today, he was one yellow card away from missing the Bayern Munich game, which would have really hurt us. And what did he do? He kept it composed all game. He didn't get involved in none of the drama, and he kept it ticking and he kept it moving, and he done nothing stupid to get himself banned from the next leg. Now, you've got other players that are great players, but they'll do something stupid, and like Thomas Partey last season, that will get themselves banned for a huge game. And it's another just thing that I feel like he's got for us.
Makes perfect sense. Jezza here says, can we now please stop the Caicedo Rice comparisons? Caicedo is a superb DM, probably the best in that specific role. Declan, however, is controlling games. He is the complete midfielder and the best in the world, is what Jezza has got to say here.
I don't think it needs to stop because I think it's healthy to have the debate, but it's just that it has to stop being like one is miles better than the other. It needs to start being an actual debate, and you can't have people picking and choosing what stats they want to use and what parts, and they don't want to include.
Well, yeah. It's like, again, if you're gonna debate like the DM role or the 8 role, cool. But if you're just saying who's the best midfielder overall, you've got to include all of it. Timber taking time to come on the TFC. Oh, he's saying Shannon looks like Timber. It must be Shannon. It wouldn't. No disrespect. Are the Arsenal fans on the left related? No one on here is related, as far as I'm aware. Remember, Declan Rice was on a yellow card before the game. Yeah, fantastic. He really was. Look, I want to thank everybody that's tuned into the show. This is going to redirect you to Don Hassam's watch along. Okay, so make sure you are all over there supporting my brother on his channel. I'm going to make sure it is actually going to send you guys across. It should be. Why is it not coming up? I hate YouTube sometimes. There it is. Yeah, it's going to send you across to that. So go watch him over there. We're live after Liverpool Real Madrid ends. So join us all back here live in about an hour and a half time. Until next time, everybody, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you soon. Peace.